Okay, so since this is our first VOD review, the way this is going to work, I'm just going to watch you play for a little bit to kind of gauge where you're at, so I'm not just like telling you things you already know. And then I'll start talking about things. But also, given your elo, I'm only really going to be talking about what you could be doing here, because like no one in this lobby is playing right. I guarantee you, no, all 12 of you. And you can't control that, but you can still control yourself. So we'll make you better, and fuck what your team is doing. It genuinely does not matter right now. This is actually okay. Okay, cool. So far I have one mechanical thing, and then I have like a really big thing. So, right here, look at where you hold your crosshair. You hold it down at like body level, and that means you have to flick up to try to hit the head. There is no shame in being a body shot bandit, and in this elo, it's actually perfectly fine. Like, people just don't get to cover, so you usually have time to hit the body shots, and they're more reliable than the headshots. So if you have to flick to hit somebody, I don't mind you going for the body shots rather than the headshots right now while you're developing your aim. It's fine. But if you want to hit some nice, super easy headshots, it's called crosshair discipline. Hold your crosshair at head height in places where you think an enemy might peek. So doorways, corners, whatever. And you're just already holding your crosshair there. So as they walk out, all you have to do is click and not move your mouse. Additionally, because every hero in this game moves at the same speed, provided, like, you know, Lucio changes that, Genji moves faster when he's ulting, shit like that. But at a base level, all other things being equal, everyone moves at the same speed. So if you're holding your crosshair at head height, let's just say on this Tracer. I know this Tracer's on your team, but we're right here. Holding it at head height, Tracer's running in this way. That means if we hold D, our cursor stays on her head. And we can just go click, click, click as we follow her. Yeah? That's more useful for tracking heroes, but it's still nice for you. TLDR, hold your crosshair at head height as your default where my crosshair just always is. And then if you have to flick, do what you got to do. If you think you can hit the headshot, it's better, but no shame in the body shots. Really isn't. And then beyond this, here's the big one. I'm going to give you a formula. And the thing to understand about this formula is it is a starting point. It's not a, like, anything close to a universal rule. You got to use your head. You have to adapt. But here is your basic formula on Kree. First off, you are both a bodyguard and an off angle. Occasionally a flanker, but mostly bodyguard and off angle. And I'll define what I mean by all that in a second. But that means if you have somebody that you think needs to be protected that might get dove, like a Zen or an Ana sort of thing, or even like a Widowmaker, Ashe, whatever, you can protect them. And if you sit on top of your Ana and you flash fan the asshole Genji that comes to kill her, then instead of you guys being down an Ana, the other team is down a Genji. You now have man advantage. And while you're with the Ana, you just doink shots from a distance. You do what you can. And then once the dive is dead, then you can move. And you guys have an advantage, so you can take a super aggressive angle even if you wanted. So that's our starting point, is protecting people. Brig's also a bodyguard. We don't need to protect Tracer. We don't really need to protect Moira. We don't really need to protect Hog. So I would actually look to bodyguard Reinhardt. And your bodyguarding Reinhardt works differently than you would think. And this is where the off-angling comes into play. The way you help your Rhine out, and this is true in any goddamn elo. This is just a universal rule. No matter how good or bad this tank is, you personally can make him better. Whether you can make him better enough remains to be seen. It's bronze. But you can make a bad tank better. And here's how you do it. Your Rhine and your team are over here fighting these guys. Whoop. You pop over here like your Tracer is doing, like you're already doing, and you play cover safely so they can't actually get you or do anything to you. You don't want to become a trade here. And you just start shooting people, either the back line or you shoot the other tank or whoever you can shoot from this different angle. And then what do? Do they turn to look at you, which means they just turned away from a Reinhardt, a Hog, a Brig, and a Moira? Or do they ignore the Kree and the Tracer that are just shooting them for free? They can't. Neither of those are good choices. If they make either of those choices, they die. The only good choice they have is to back up far enough that they can deal with both of those angles as if they were one. Yeah? You draw aggro and split attention away from your Reinhardt, and that makes his life easier. There are fewer people shooting at him. He can be less good and get more done for his comparative skill, yeah? If you feed and die, it's a throw. If you can get people to look at you or die for their arrogance of ignoring you, then you have just carried your Reinhardt, yeah? Really strong for you. So, here is our thought process starting out. We think about every hero on our team. While we're in spawn room, we look at everyone on our team and we think about, is there anyone I should be protecting? Okay. Is there anyone I should be making space for, like your Reinhardt, which requires you to take an angle different from them? If you're behind your Reinhardt shooting, this isn't making any space for him. They can all just be looking in the same direction, shooting in the same direction, yeah? So think about all the potential good things you can be doing and maybe try to prioritize them. If you have a Rhine and an Ana, you might not be able to do both, yeah? So then maybe your priority starting out in spawn is I'll protect my Ana. When I know my Ana is safe, I'll split and try to take an angle to my Reinhardt to help my Rhine. And then your next step, once the game starts, whoop, wrong button. What is going on? Oh, there we go. Y'all, I've been hitting the shortcut for this all day, and I actually just forgot it, and now I can't remember it, and I keep hitting it wrong. My brain's going to mush. This is definitely the last one. But anyway, as soon as you have seen who these other 6 are, or like 15 seconds into the game, you can hit tab and then it will show you. Then we think about who we need to deal with. Well, first we can see they have no dive. Yeah? Since they have no dive, I mean, you don't have an Ana anyway, but like this would tell you that we don't have to camp our Ana because there's no one going to dive her. We need to keep an eye out on people who might take off angles or flank. But so long as we keep these people in our eyes and know where they are, we don't actually have to sit on top of her, yeah? We can just look to pressure them out. Would Tracer have a similar playstyle to Zarya? No. Tracer's playstyle is... I don't want to say incredibly different, because if you reduce this game down enough, everything is the same. Literally everything is about taking angles. You just do it in different ways for different heroes in different roles and in different combinations of heroes. But at the end of the day, it's all about taking angles and map control and etc. But Tracer does do that a little bit differently than Zarya. Aim is similar, though. Tracer and Zarya are a good pair because you're both tracking aim. So mechanically, if you're getting better at Tracer, you're getting better mechanically at Zarya too at the same time. But that's just for mechanics. It's not for like playstyle, really. But yeah. So now, seeing all this, we know I need to angle to my Reinhardt, and I need to watch these three people, and I need to just try to not let them take an off angle. If you can't take the fight, you can't take the fight. But all you have to do is not give it to them for free. Just don't let this soldier just go take this angle like you and your tracer were doing. If you can come match him and put a shot or two into him and push him back so he has to leave, amazing. If you kill him, even better. But really, you're just trying to deny it, or at the very least, he doesn't get it for free. He had to come and fight you a little bit and push you out, and then you left before you died. That should be your worst case. Anyway, and then lastly, we think about flash priority. Is there anything on here that I should be actively looking to flash? And remember that your flash is a cancel. So I am actively looking to flash Hog when he vapes because you cancel his vape. And every Roadhog from mid-masters on down, basically every single Roadhog that has ever existed from mid-masters on down, planned to get out of whatever dumbass flank they were doing with their vape. Like, their vape was integral to their plan. I'm going to go in way too deep, I'm going to do some shit, and then I'm just going to turn around and vape as I leave, and I'm going to get away for free. When that vape gets canceled, they're never ready for it. They're never near cover. They never have a way out. You get this Hog fucking killed. So, our thought process, yeah? This is how I kind of want you thinking about the game. Think about everyone on your team, then think about everyone on their team, and try your best to prioritize those things that you should be actively looking for. And if you're actively looking for them, they become so much easier. If you watch a top 500 player and they have like these insane reaction times and oh my god, this flick sleep and this and that and blah, 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 they're doing all this crazy shit, almost none of it, like 99.9% of it, it was not a reaction at all. They knew it was coming. They thought about the enemy team and what they would do, and they predicted what the enemy team was going to do, so they were just already ready to do the thing. Yeah? So, get these things at the front of your mind, and you will get better, for sure. Maybe not immediately. There might be some trial and error. And, like, I'm going to help you a little bit more here. Don't worry. But it's this thought process that's really important. And if you start this process now, you just go, okay, I think I need to be doing this thing. Fuck, that didn't work. Well, did it not work because I made a mistake, like, mechanically or something? Or did it not work because it was a bad idea? Well, I'm not sure, so I'm going to try it again. Well, fuck, that got me killed again. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Let's try this thing. Oh shit, I just killed 3 people. Okay, maybe I'm going to try this flank again. Oh, they saw it coming this time. Okay, I'm going to change it up. Boom. You are instantly a better player. You might drop SR the first week while you figure this shit out, but then your trajectory is going to do this. Yeah? Hiya, I look forward to watching your review on my VOD whenever you feel up to it. I really like and appreciate how in-depth your reviews are. Ah, thanks so much. Welcome, buddy. Do you have one in Discord, or? Ah, you do. Okay. My brain is going to mush, so I think this is going to be the last one today. But I'm going to get you on... Wait, today's Monday. So Wednesday. Wednesday I stream at 6 p.m. Whether you're here or not, I will get it done on Wednesday, and you can... go to Finished VODs to find the timestamp and watch it. Or if you're here on Wednesday, I can do it while you're here. But I will do it for sure on then. Anyway. In a moment here, I'm going to go back to watching your play, and we'll talk about all the things you can do in the nonsense that is bronze. But I have one other high-level concept that I want to show you that will make your life just so much easier. It'll make so much about this game so much more clear. If I can just find a good angle. Okay, this map is a little bit weird. And the thing is... Oh, actually, you know what? There's a better place I can do this. I'm just going to show you on part of this map, but so almost every part of every map in this game, let's come here, is built around 3 lanes. So here's main, here's coast going around there, and then there's this one here that goes into server room, which is, this is essentially the route you took. You came in through here to get there, but you ended up on this outer lane, yeah? Some of the maps get funky. Sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 4, sometimes it's just really muddled and weird, but for the most part, almost every part of every map in this game is built around 3 lanes. It's an intentional design choice that exists in tons of games. Tons of FPS games, especially. So, you, as Kree, if you want to take an off angle, what that means to me, different people might have different definitions, but this is how I like to think of, where can I draw this on this map? You know what? We're going to Pokeball this little point here. Boom. I'm just going to make this, enemy team side, your side, sort of thing. If you are on an outer lane, whichever one of the outer lanes, but behind your tanks or level with your tanks, you are on an off angle. If, for example, I don't know, let's say your whole team is right here and you're just up on this high ground, like you're very close to them, but you're split just a tiny bit, I would call that a soft angle, yeah? And as Kree, you want to start out on top of whoever you most need to protect, like very close to them in case, the dive comes from them, you need to be ready, and maybe a little bit behind them so you can see them. Then, as you see that they are safe, you then go to some kind of soft angle. Like maybe your team's here, so you just come to like here sort of thing. Whatever. We're just drawing. I'm not saying on this map you would necessarily hold right here. But, so, I'm going to take a soft angle. Then that soft angle splits a tiny bit of attention. Some people might look at you, or it might let you get some damage behind the shield sort of thing, behind the tanks. Whoops. So that makes a little bit of space for your tanks, like just a little bit. It's not huge, but it helps them a little bit, and that might help them push. And as they push, that lets you split further into a full-on off angle, which is really strong. Yeah? During all this, you don't want to split too far from whoever you're supposed to protect, just in case something happens. Once you are absolutely sure that whoever you're protecting is fine, if you want to go super aggro, then you can go offside sort of thing and take an outer lane, still an outer lane, but past your tanks and behind their tanks sort of thing. Yeah? And I would call that a flank. The outer lanes make your flank so much easier because they let you just get around the team. And the thing about them is once you decide to flank, you just keep wrapping. You go, oh, you know what? I think I could kill that Moira. Boom. Or maybe you don't, and you're like, oh, there's a hog there. I don't want to take this right now, so I'm going to wrap around. Boom. I have no targets, so I'm going to wrap around. Oh, you know what? I can take some shots here, and they can't do shit about it. Because, like, this is such a narrow area, and I have roll, so I can just roll away into cover. Like, I'm going to take some pot shots at this Moira, and it won't kill her, but, now it's going to force her fade, maybe, force her to use orb to heal herself, maybe get the hog and the brig to turn around looking for me, and now I just made hella space for my team, and I'm going to keep wrapping. And I'm going to find this tracer. Yeah, I know this tracer's on your team, but we're just talking here. And I'm going to, flash headshot this tracer, and now I just got to pick. This was a long-ass flank. You don't necessarily want to wrap around that far, not on Kree because you have no mobility, but that's the idea, yeah? Soft angle, off angle, flank. And it also works in reverse. You're off on a flank and you notice the enemy team starts pushing back in on your team. Maybe you come closer and you go back to protecting people. You go back to that soft angle. you go back to being hard on top of your Ana because you see they just swapped Doomfist, and that Doomfist is coming for her. Again, we're just spitballing. There's so many different things that could happen, but this is your starting point, is these outer lanes. You start with whoever you need to protect, marking whoever, and then you look for whoever you need to mark, and then you try to take an angle different from your tanks, close enough to whoever you need to protect, that allows you to pressure whoever you need to mark, or pressure the backline, pressure tanks, pressure whoever, you know? But try to think about the target you're pressuring too, and make it somebody good. Where's my mouse? There we go. Okay. That was just a whole lot of GM shit, honestly. For a 900 player, don't stress about it, but start working it into your play now. It will help you now. It is strong now, and it is necessary later. And this will kind of buy you a little bit of elo and a little bit of time to work on your mechanics as well. You get your positioning better, and you have more space to work on your mechanics because you're just under less pressure, yeah? But I digress. This game has barely started, and I've talked for like 10 hours. So let's just watch you play, and let's talk about what you could have done in the chaos of bronze, yeah? So like right here, I love all this. This is all fine, but it's all fine. And here's the mistake right here, was walking out this far and following this diva in, rather than staying on this corner and peeking only whoever you want to shoot. So you just look at this diva, you demech her, and once she's demeched, maybe you kill the baby diva, or maybe then you take a different angle. And now we come here, and we're still around cover, and now we're shooting major laser in the face. Or maybe we decide now is the time, and now would be actually an amazing time to go on a flank. I'll talk about why in a second, but we take this time to go on a flank, and we kill this soldier, or we kill this mercy, you know? Boom. But we're always, this is, if you take nothing else from the rest of this VOD, or from this entire VOD review, if you take nothing from this VOD review, hug corners at all times. Hug walls and corners and cover. And if you have to leave cover to move, try to path through cover as much as you can, and from cover to cover as quickly as possible. Don't linger out in the middle like this. You don't get punished for this very often because 900 players miss most of their shots. So like most of the time you're out here, you're not actually getting shot too much. But the higher you climb, the more you're going to get shot. And also, I could all but guarantee that nearly every time you die in this game, you're going to be in open space and not standing near cover. You can still die standing near cover. It's not like it's impossible, but it is so much harder. And if you live more, you will do more. Full stop. If you die, it's a 10-second respawn plus 10 to 20 seconds to get back to the fight. If you leave to get a health pack and come back, that's 5 to 10 seconds. You're back in the fight sooner and you're doing more. So, like, if you, like I said, nothing else from this VOD, live. Play like your life. Your life personally is the most important thing in the game. It is more important for you to live than it is for you to kill things. Full stop. Killing things is awesome and something you should be actively looking to do, but you should never get yourself killed for it. And every time you die, I want you to just think about where you were standing and what you were doing. And think, was I doing the right thing? And was I in the right spot? So sometimes you were doing the right thing, but you could have been standing somewhere safer and doing it, which is this case. You could have been standing somewhere safer to shoot the diva. Or was that just straight up the wrong thing to do? I shouldn't have been here shooting the diva in the first place. I needed to be somewhere else doing something else. You got 10 seconds while you respawn. Spend those 10 seconds thinking about that death and trying to minimize them. And you are not in bronze anymore. Full stop. Just living better gets you to gold. It kind of does. It might take a long ass time. Like, you'll have to grind it out. But just living and no other changes is the best thing you can possibly do in bronze. It really is. And so, like, the thing about this is when you're in close like this is a bad habit, whether or not you're even thinking about it. This is something a lot of people do when they don't trust their own aim, is they get closer thinking it's easier to hit the shots. Reach the top. Hello, non-toxic U.S. Marine Corps streamer. Yeah, I have never been in the military, and I never will. But for the sake of video games, the Marines at least know what they're doing when it comes to killing people, and if I want to kill some video game characters, maybe they can help me do it better. I literally just started trolling my games and suddenly jumped 500 SR and kept that higher SR. Why does this happen? Oh no! Oh, right. When you're in deep, the further you have to turn to see what's going on, the harder your life becomes. The further you have to move to shoot somebody, the harder it is to hit that shot. That's just like full-on math. Like, the closer the person is, the easier the flick is. And the easier it is to be accurate with the flick, too. But there's 12 people in this lobby all moving, and if you can only see 4 of them and you have to turn to see the rest, how on earth do you track where they are or where they're going? It's so hard, dude. It is a recipe for getting lost and confused. Anyone would just be like, what the fuck is going on when you're in deep like that? When you catch yourself in those moments, just try to remind yourself to take a breath and back up. Back up to where you can see what's going on, assess the fight, and then decide where you need to go and go there. It's going to be slow at first, but it doesn't matter. In bronze, you can be slow because everyone's being slow, and it is more important that you react correctly than it is that you react quickly. Speed comes second. I would rather see you take the most brilliant flank on the planet way too slow than keep running it down mid with good timing. Thank you. Thank you.
You want some eggnog?
I love you. Thank you. Joey made bagels from scratch and also eggnog, and then they brought me some. Oh my god. Oh, and there's booze in it.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I'm not.
Sorry for not warning you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Anyway. So yeah, you as Kree need to get closer than some other hit scan players because you have, fall off, but you don't want to be in it. Yeah. I don't know that I need to say anything more about that. I think that all made sense. If not, please let me know. If any of this actually isn't making sense, please let me know and I'll try to find other words to explain it. Ah, fun glitch.
Hello there.
My brain gets super weird sometimes in the way I think about some things, and sometimes I just don't think about things in a way that's ever going to make sense to somebody. It will not hurt my feelings if I need to rephrase something, so please let me know. I'd rather you understand what I'm trying to teach you. Good attempt, but you forgot about your role. So, I actually don't hate you going for the play, but you stayed in. So, like, here, it's all good, it's all good. Boom, we do it, we miss it, we roll. So, that should have been shot, flash, shot, because that'll kill somebody, or, whatever, flash, headshot, body shot. But the second we whiffed the headshot, we roll. And we roll into cover here and kind of back. So like from here, I would roll to like here, and now we got cover and we're back to where we were with our team, etc. Because Hanzo can one-shot you and Hog can one-shot you, which he just did. Whether or not a 900 SR Hanzo hits the headshot, probably not very likely, but I still like to play as if the enemy could hit me. The enemy, at least, is somewhat competent. I'm following. It's a lot of info, but I'll break it down and work on it little by little. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. I'll try to prioritize it for you at the end, too. I do want to talk about one last thing about this. Other than staying in too long, the timing on it was really, really good. You don't want to take these angles too soon. What you're waiting for, there's some leapfrogging that happens. Your tanks help you. you help your tanks. Your tanks help you, you help your tanks. Tanks and DPS together are what takes space. It's not just the tanks, yeah? So what happens really is that the tanks take space first because they have health pools and shields and shit, yeah? But them taking space first isn't necessarily going all the way in. If your Rhine just went to like here and held this corner, that space, you guys control all this. You can still hold the point, whatever. He's taking space. He might not be able to safely push past this. So now, the next step in the leapfrog is DPS, off-tank, whatever, you take an off-angle. If you were up here on this high ground, oh my god, that would be massive. That would be so nice. But anyway, you take this off-angle, you have cover, it's hard for you to get to, and because for the reasons I talked about earlier, you split some attention, and that makes space for your tanks to push in closer. And once they get closer, you can now take a more aggressive angle because they're tunneling on your tanks. If a Reinhardt is in their face swinging, they are not looking for a Kree coming around fucking coast on some weird-ass angle. They're just not expecting you, yeah? Even in super high elo, they're not expecting you. In bronze, it's free. In bronze, if you wait until they look at your tank and tunnel on your tank, you can practically work your way backwards to front through their entire team. You kill this Ana, no one turns around. You come to this D.Va, the D.Va turns around, no one else does. You kill the D.Va, now you kill the Soldier, then the Hanzo, then the Lucio, then the Hawk. You just work your way back to front. Depressingly effective, yeah? The reason everyone hates the flanking DPS in low elo is flanking DPS usually just have awful timing. You go, oh shit, this flank is really good, and I know that this is where I want to be eventually. So I go straight fucking here. And that's not the play. It's a process. Map control is a process that you are very much instrumental in. Now, here's the thing. No one in this lobby understands a goddamn thing about any of this. You cannot expect your Rhine to know the first goddamn thing about taking space or about leapfrogging space with their DPS or the off tank to hold an off angle. None of that shit is going to happen, and it does not matter because you are now going to be the one person in the lobby playing correctly. More or less, yeah? Which means if you are the one person in the lobby ever taking an angle, your tanks will walk forward eventually. You just, boom, and then you take that angle. And then they walk forward further so you can go more aggressive, yeah? And if they don't walk forward further, you just try to do the most you can from here. Because you know if you pop up right here, right now, you'll die, yeah? You can't control them, but you can make their life easier and you can make the best out of the situation. And whether or not, for example, you being right here helps your Ryan enough that you guys win this game, who the fuck knows? But it will win you more games than you are currently winning, which means you will climb. Yeah? At least some of the time, this will be the deciding factor in the game. For sure, because you're going to be the only one doing it. And actually, it'll probably be the deciding factor pretty fucking often. Booze on an empty stomach.
Back in the saddle again.
Alright, let's see how you use this high noon.
Surrender to my will. I will not
Okay. I'm going to show you two high noons here. One is the one from where you were, and one is the one from where I think you should have been. Yeah? It's all fine, it's all fine. It's all fine. Actually, sorry, I just saw something that doesn't exist until Masters, and I just saw it in a 900 game. We're going to talk about the high noon in a second. I need to show you something really fucking good that you just did, and I think it was almost on accident. So I want you to do this on purpose now, yeah? You just did some like 4200 level player shit. Honestly. And it's going to seem so small and so stupid when I show it to you, but it's not. We walk forward, they whole hog, we back up, we whole hog, so we walk forward, they nano, so we back up. That is called ebb and flow, my friend, and it is one of the hardest skills to teach people. And one that you will not see until Masters at least, and realistically, like GM, low top 500 is where this really starts happening. It's another one of those things, though, that even if no one else in the lobby is doing it, if you understand this idea of we have some kind of advantage, like an ultimate whatever, we got to pick whatever the advantage is. We are now in a position to win this fight, so we push with that. They counter with something. They get a pick, they get an ult, this Ana lands a clutch sleep, whatever. Well, now we need to back up to kite them as they push into us. Oh, hey, now we just kited that ultimate, and now we're pushing in with another, so now we can push in again. Ebb and flow. And what it does is it min-maxes your uptime. It min-maxes the amount you can do without dying. So you walk in as you have enough advantage to walk forward that you're not going to get killed for walking forward. As soon as that might change and you might die, you back up shooting people all the time and you live, and you just wait until you're safe to push in again, and then you live. And then, yeah? And so all this time you're shooting them. And you're just living for fucking ever while absolutely min-maxing the damage you can output. I love that I just saw that. Like I said, I think it was on accident, but I don't care. Now you have seen yourself do something right. You can do this on purpose. Oh, whoops. I was going to show you the noon, too. And I think I just missed it. Oh, there it was. My bad. Let me slow this down. Yep, we flow. Wait for it. Here. I hit high noon. Hog has used hook, is away from open space, and more importantly, this Ana has now crossed into open space. It is actually now a little bit too far. When she got to about here, because here is too far from any cover. She cannot possibly get to cover before you have a kill shot on her. She hits the sleep on you. This 900 SR Ana hits the sleep on you or she dies. And you might even kill the hog or at least make him killable for the 3 people here despite his nano. Yeah? So we just back up to here. We hit the high noon like a second before I actually managed to pause it. And we kill at least the Ana and maybe we get the hog at least low enough to die. Yeah? So this is the one you could have done right now. The one I would have loved to see is if you had just rolled out to here and you hit it here. Again, play your corner, pop out of nowhere and hit it, and this Ana has to hit a flick sleep or this Hanzo has to hit a flick headshot or dead, and dead. You just got a 3K. Because you popped up on an off angle after they tunneled on your team. Yeah? Okay. Now let's see how you actually use your noon. You get in a little too close, it makes things hard for us. I don't know if you've noticed this. Like, your mechanics need some work. We both know this. Whatever. It's not... mechanics aren't as big a deal as people think in this game. They really aren't. And your mechanics will improve the more you play. So, like, don't even stress about it. As you work on all this other stuff, your aim is going to improve just from playing the game more. Yeah? And it'll probably be a while before you have to really focus on mechanics to, like, before it becomes mechanics that are holding you back versus other things, yeah? But have you noticed in this game how every time you get closer to them, you actually start whiffing way more shots than when you're hanging out in the back? I would say you probably hit about 3 shots out of 6 when you're about as far away from the Ana as you are now. Or, from here to the Ana. You probably hit about 3 out of 6. And when you're here, it feels like you're hitting 1 out of 6. Yeah, you're whiffing basically your entire clip. And it's because you're panicking. And why the hell wouldn't you? This is a scary-ass place to be. It's fucking terrifying. Yeah? It is hard to hit shots. It is hard to remain calm and just, like, chill and get that ice water in your veins so you can just, like, not even care and hit the shots. So hard to do that from here. So much easier to do it from here. Even though they're further away, it's a smaller target to hit, you are hitting more shots when you're under less pressure. Cool.
Join me. Soldiers of Let's start over at the beginning. Dead eyes ready.
Touch from afar.
Okay. Unlucky. I would have grabbed that mini since we're low, but yeah, don't be afraid to grab a health pack. It's really nice to give your supports ult charge, but your supports in this elo are barely ever paying attention to you. If you're by a health pack, just grab it. If your support is already healing you and, like, it's in between fights, you have downtime, whatever, then by all means, give them the ult charge. That's a really nice thing for you to do. It helps everyone. But yeah, I would have just grabbed that mini. One of the best changes you can make, especially in low elo, is just no longer have no expectations out of anyone. Your supports will never heal you, your tanks will never hit space, your DPS will never hit any shots ever.
Well,
that is your baseline expectation, so now all they can do is pleasantly surprise you. Yeah? Because they're bronze. You really can't it blows my mind when people in low elo tilt at the other low elo players for being bad. Like, what the fuck did you expect? Of course they're bad. That's why they're here. If they were good, they wouldn't be on your team. They'd be on a higher elo.
Surrender to my will.
I love that this happened because for the first time ever, this one was too early. Taking this angle is really, really good. White room is powerful. It's a high ground. Holding high grounds is really strong. If you build the habit of pathing to high grounds as a default also, you'll hit plat. Not even... I wish I was joking. But like, high grounds are just so insanely powerful. It is depressing that people refuse to use them because my team isn't. So, you can use it. It's still powerful. Take the power. There's no point in getting tilted at bronze. Yeah, exactly. Everyone is bad, without fail. And those that practice will be less bad, and they will get out. And those that don't practice and just continue to tilt on their team not being good enough will stay there forever. Yeah? But anyway, this is such a great angle for you to take, but you went too early. You want to take this, like I said, after they tunnel on your tanks, who you're now in front of, because they decided to path this way. I don't think you expected that. I think you thought they were walking in this way, which is what I thought too. But that's yet another reason to just wait a second. You have wall hacks on your team, so you just sit here, and you look, and you wait until you see them push in, and you hear the gunfire going off, and then we peek, and we look for somebody that is unaware of us, and we click on their head. I'm going to give you one last thing, I think. We're probably just going to watch this one map because I've talked about it a ton, and I'm probably just going to repeat myself a ton on the next two. Yeah? Because, like, you don't know what you don't know, so how are you going to make the changes I just talked about? Last mechanical thing for you. If you are looking to kill somebody who is aware of your team, but unaware of you, which is fairly, like, just good in general. It's hard to hit shots on people who are aware of you. It's easy to hit them on people who are unaware. So you look for somebody that's not looking at you, and there isn't a good example right now other than right here, but, like, if you get to a 90-degree angle to them. So, like, soldiers looking this way, you're here, 90 degrees, right? This soldier is aware of your team, he's shooting your team, so he is probably moving back and forth, yeah? AD movement to try to not get shot. Which means, if you're 90 degrees to him and you're here, that AD movement looks like this. Do you have to move your crosshair at all to keep shooting him in the head? Not at fucking all. Yeah? You get to just dunk your shots. Now, if there is somebody standing perfectly still, completely unaware, a hard-scoped Ana in the back, for example. Most people, when they are not expecting to take fire and they suddenly get shot in the back, their very first instinct is going to be to press W. They might change that up shortly thereafter once they start to think, but the first thing they're going to do is press W. So, you come behind them, they press W, you press W, everyone moves at the same speed, their head hitbox stays the same. Same size, same spot. You don't have to adjust your aim any. So. Yeah. Ooh, fat chatty. Yeah. Also, if you're within range of the fan and it's a tank or like a 250 health DPS, somebody that you can't just kill with a headshot, or even right then, never feel ashamed of the fan. You'll get called Mick right click all goddamn day. The problem isn't you using the ability, the problem is the ability is broken. Choosing not to use a broken ability is silly. The fact that it does 300 damage in like 2 seconds is, or like a second and a half. That was a lot of shots. That was good. Yep. Dang. So, and this comes back to prioritizing your life, yeah? Your life matters more than getting killed. So, you helped your Rhine a bit, but now we're dead, we roll, or we're low, so we roll out. Moira was with us, all we had to do was keep backing up. To be fair, this is getting a little messy. You are currently 6v4. Yeah, well, until you died, you were 6v4. So, like, you're probably losing this no matter what. But your path to victory in this fight is you, McCree, get out alive. And then you get trades. You pressure out this Hanzo, then you kill this Lucio, then you come over here and you kill someone, or like, as they tunnel on you and you're shooting them, that makes the space for Soldier to get a pick and Hog gets the hook off, whatever. You have to clutch this back now. Or die immediately. You have point control. So, like, until, you don't have to reset until they've capped. So I would go to stall. I would try to clutch this out by playing just a little bit safer and trying to get the shots. If they cap the point, you hard W into them and die, because you can't get out alive. They'll chase you down if you try to leave, yeah? Your team's already dead in the resetting anyway, so you just reset with them, and now you can push in together. Because if you stagger from them, they're going to run in without you. Almost every goddamn time, and then they're going to lose a 5v6 over and over and over again, and then tilt, why aren't my DPS killing anything? Well, because you keep running in without us and dying before we get there. So, resetting with your team. Which I guess you did, but I think you could have done a little bit more first.
I've got unfinished business.
Let me rephrase that, not a little bit more. You could have made a last-ditch attempt at clutching. that almost for sure wouldn't have worked, but sometimes will, so why the fuck not try, yeah?
0-1.
Yeah. When it comes to risky plays, don't weigh necessarily the risk with the reward. Weigh the risk with the necessity. The more important it is that something happens, the more risk you can take to get it done if you need to. Yeah? But let me think of how to say this. Sorry, this is why I need an end stream. My brain is... I'm going to prioritize a few things for you. Here is your to-do list to work on. 1. Corners / cover. I want you to be physically touching corners or cover at all times. This is the first thing you work on. Ignore everything else. This is the one that really, really matters, yeah? Just make it harder for them to shoot you. And I really do mean physically touching the cover. So you peek the absolute minimum amount you need to shoot whoever you want to shoot, and you don't peek the other people that you aren't shooting, so they just can't shoot you at all, yeah? And then, because there are so few true one-taps in this game, if somebody shoots you and you're right next to cover, you just jet behind the cover and get healed up or get a health pack or whatever. It's almost impossible for anyone to kill you. The best they can hope to do is pressure you out. Yeah? And that'll send your uptime through the roof. So this is priority number 1, triple underlined. Yeah? Priority number 2. This is specifically on Kree or any kind of bodyguard type hero. Protect. Think about who you need to protect and watch them and actually protect them. There is a important distinction, though, because of how low a elo you're in right now, which is if you're protecting your Ana, say, your Ana is probably standing in some stupid-ass fucking places that are going to get you both killed. Don't let your Ana get you killed. Stand somewhere safe, just as close to her as you can be, where you can see her, throw out some kind of damage into somebody, and make sure she's safe before you then, step 3, control outer lanes. Whee! And now, I'm going to underline control here, because control does not mean that you have to stay on that outer lane until they kill you. Yeah, you don't have to hold this to the bitter end. It's do your absolute best up to getting killed, but not to getting killed. Do the best you can to not let anyone on the enemy team use the outer lanes. On McCree, since you don't have mobility, realistically, you can only control 1. So if there somehow you have a flanker coming on one way and a flanker coming on the other, think about who you on Kree could best deal with. Yeah? Who are you most suited to handle? If one of the flankers is a Roadhog and the other is a Reaper, well, you can flash fan the Reaper. You can't really deal with the Roadhog. So you go match the Roadhog and you try to pressure him out. And if you pressure him out, then you can use that outer lane yourself. And the enemy team can't. And that's incredibly powerful. Yeah? So controlling outer lanes is not just about using them for yourself. It's also about not letting the enemy use them. But with the nuance being, you do your best. And if you have to leave, you leave. You just do your best. You make them pay for it at least. It took them time. It took them cooldowns. Whatever. And now we're back with our team and we're still alive to try again. Yeah? I just want you to know how useful these streams have been for me. Many thanks. I'm so glad. Yay! For crosshair discipline, I guess that's whatever. I'll write it out. I don't think that I spelled discipline right. This says discipline. It's supposed to, but I'm bad. Anyway, crosshair discipline will just make all these other good things you're doing, you'll just be more effective at them. So you'll do a better job doing these important jobs. And fifth, I'm putting this last because it really is the least important out of all of these. But I'm giving you 5 things to work on when I normally give people 3, because this one is just stupid strong and stupid easy. High grounds. It's just like with an outer lane. You want to, A, use it yourself, but also deny it from the enemy because it's so powerful. If you just don't let them have it, it's good. Let alone if you can use it yourself. And again, it's up to the point where you would die and then you leave. So the common refrain in low elo is, but I'm all alone up there, my team's not up there, no one will help me. The vast majority of games, especially if your timing is good. So we talked about the timing thing where like tanks go in and then you go in like the moment after they have tunneled on your tanks, then you go. If you do that on a high ground, the vast majority of the time, the vast majority of your games, you are just free up there to just stand still and click on people. No one's even going to look at you. And those that do are going to whiff every goddamn shot. And no one is going to come get you. They're not. And if they do, it was because they had mobility cooldowns that let them do it. They won't go on the long-ass flank up the stairs that you as Kree are going to have to take. They won't do it. But if they have mobility to get to you, they might. So they'll use their mobility cooldowns. Genji will dash on you, Monkey will leap, whatever. And then you drop off the high ground. Yeah? And you go back to your team. And what did they get? They got wasted cooldowns. That's it. Monkey used his leap and now has to wait for his leap to come back before he can do shit. Meanwhile, all you did was drop and now you're back with your team doing what you would have been doing if you had just been with them all along anyway. Yeah?